Hi everyone, Dustin with Felt Experience Poker here, and today I'm recording 4 tables of 5-10 no limit on ClubGG with a full small blind ante from each player. So it's quite a large ante, especially when the table is full, and so that is going to affect pre-flop ranges quite a bit, and therefore post-flop strategies somewhat significantly as well. But what I will do is record around 25 minutes of play and talk through my thought processes as I see them to be relevant. I'll probably, breeze through some early street stuff. And hopefully we'll get into some interesting spots. If there are any spots that I am unsure about, which I'm sure there will be plenty, then I will tag them to review in GTO Wizard in a later video. Queen 3 off, not really sure about the defend, but it's a small size given the size, a small open size given the size of the ante. So I did choose to call, and I think I just fold on this board against the c-bet. And table 2, 10-5 off. I think we could defend heads up, like if there was only one open and everyone else folds, but this hand just plays even worse multi-way, so I'm going to go for the fold. I'm playing a pure limp strategy in the small blind, meaning only limping or folding. This is a board, I think we want to go b67 with our bet range. This combo could kind of go either way. I'm going to choose to bet it this time. I'm not going to get too into my HUD, at least not right now, but I will tell you that right here, this number is my randomizer, and I only have it set for 1 to 3. So if I roll a 1, that is low. If I roll a 3, that is high. And then I'm going to be playing 3x opens from under the gun in middle position, and then 4x opens from cutoff and button with this ante structure. Against the 2.5x button open, I'm pretty sure we actually need to be, having a good amount of calls, and I think calling queen 5 suited probably. Table 1, I went for the 3-bet. I think we want a big size on this board since there are, since it's low. So I'm going to do that. Table 2, pretty straightforward. Check call. Table 3, I think we usually want to be 3-betting here. And against the cold 4-bet, we could go either way. I'm going to choose to jam just because even a good amount of the bluffs are overcards, and so we benefit from denying equity against king queen. If king queen 4-bet folds, that's really great for us here. And then table 2 chose to fold just because I think we have plenty of better continues there. They also overbet into what was my uncapped range, and so that's usually like not a super great idea, and also usually just quite strong. Table 1, I think we need to call just because we unblock bluffs and we block stuff like king 10, king 8 that could play this way. Was not expecting them to go that thin with those sizings, but sure, I guess occasionally they play, especially ace-king that way, but sure, king-queen too. So anytime we beat value and we have what seems to be a bluff catcher, we certainly need to be calling. Table 3, I would tend to call against the 3-bet, but not when there's a cold call against the 3-bet. That cold call range is just quite strong. So king queen off plays really poorly against those ranges multi-way. 7-5 off, probably a fold given it's only three-handed, so the ante is smaller, and it was a 3.5x open. Jack deuce off. If the button had folded, I would have folded here, but at a full table, I would call again, just because the ante is going to be bigger in that case. And yeah, I know I mentioned I'm usually going to be 4xing on the button, but just going to 3x when we're 3 or 4-handed, again, because the ante is not quite as big. This is a board I think we want to go big on. I could see, like with our betting range, I could probably go B120 or something. That, of course, implies polarity, and so I'm going to be checking back most of my 6x combos. When we turn trips, I think we can use pot as our delay size. We can include some overpairs that we checked back flop with, and potentially even some 9x. I'm definitely not betting with all 9x on flop, and of course trips for value, and we can pretty easily flesh that out with a bluffing range as well. I am going to tag that one though, just kind of as a line check. Take a look at what flop size and betting range should be, and same with turn delay. I haven't really looked at much 300 BB deep in general, honestly. Table 4, I'm going to go for a B67 sizing with my betting range. I think Jack 10 with a club usually wants to bet. Checking would certainly be fine also. Now on the 8 turn, I am going to mix. I will probably usually check this back, but bet it a third of the time, and I did roll a 3, so I am going to go for a 2E sizing here. And sadly, we just have to bet fold. That one I'm going to tag as well, though, just to kind of check my line. Table 2, I don't really think we need to be probing this. I think, yeah, we just have too much showdown value to be bluffing river as well. We have plenty of worse stuff to bluff with. We are going to be, even with the 5 blocker, it's not super relevant because they're not opening many 5-3s in the cutoff, and we're going to be way over bluffing if we bet this combo. So I think just checking is standard and good. Table 3, very standard call. Table 1, I don't really want to do a ton of 3 betting this deep out of position, so I'm just going to call this one. Table 2, I think ISO would be fine, choosing to call. And table 1 seems close. I'm going to fold partly because I am still deep out of position, and this hand has some like reverse implied odds type of stuff going on, and we just don't do great against like a squeeze and call range. Sevens seem slightly cuspy against an under the gun c-bet 3-way, but I think given that it's a small size, we'd probably have to call once and can fold turn. Certainly need some combos that play that way. And river is interesting because I kind of feel like we're near bottom of range, which implies that we need to do some bluffing. That said, maybe I choose to just bluff with 7s if I roll a 3 and check this time. I don't really think we always want to be bluffing with them. A little bit tragic to see 8s, but okay. Gonna tag that one as well because I think it'll be an interesting river spot to dive into. Table 1, standard check call. Table 2, I ISO'd and went for a B40 c-bet. And I think against this player, I'm just going to kind of barrel it off. I don't expect, yeah, table 1 to a high up in range to bluff here, so just check. Yeah, I don't expect to see too many better ace-x hands in their limp call range pre. And so even though this seems like potentially a scary river card, I still feel like there's enough ace-5 type stuff that we just want to go for value. And I am gonna sit out on table 1 just because normally I don't mind playing heads up. Well, the other person sat out, so it does seem like there's a lot going on. So maybe I'll just hold this table and maybe it will fill up. Ace-8 definitely opening in the cutoff. Ace-Jack definitely opening in the button, and I'm going to go for a call against the 3-bet. Table 2, this is a board. I think we want to play like pot with our betting range, but maybe I check this back most of the time. And very nice turn. I think we can probably go for pot with a delay. We get raised. I feel like we just want to jam here. We don't, I think there's like some weaker 2-pair that they can check fold on some rivers, on some scary rivers. And I think we just want to get the money in now. We can potentially have some like combo draws to bluff this way. So sad second river, but I think yeah, I think that was played pretty well. And good EV result at least. Table 4, I'm not sure. I think we can probably call here. And I think this is pretty close. I think specifically since we're cut off, we have enough stronger stuff to continue with here that I don't really think we need to continue with this combo. I think even 8-7 suited would be better just because we turn more equity more often. So I think this is just a fold against that size. Seems closest, but again, given that like positions are very relevant, it would be different if it were cut off versus button. So yeah, I think I feel okay about that fold. Although, why not tag it to check? Because I'm not sure. And yeah, I feel like we've already gotten into a handful of spots, so maybe I'll just go for like 8 to 10 more minutes and wrap things up. Table 3 here, I'm going to be c-betting for B67 with my bet size, hijack versus big blind, and I think I'm just going to pure include ace-king in that range. The 3 of hearts is pretty interesting. I think we don't necessarily want an overbet here just because usually that happens when we bet smaller on the flop. And therefore our opponent's range is like significantly weaker. But yeah, since we did go B67 on flop, I'm just going to continue on turn for B100 with my bet size. And Table 4, I would actually usually 3-bet. I just was distracted. This seems close, maybe seems nitty to check. I just like we need more than half of their continuing range to be worse than our hand if we bet, and I don't really want to be reopening the action. Some stuff got there, king jack, some ace queen of hearts, jack 10 maybe. I'm just gonna check it back. The king queen is like the hand that we get value from, I think, but I'm not sure. Maybe we tag that one too. King 5 off would defend against button with this ante, but probably not against under the gun. Table 2, under the gun opened, and we call a button. I think this combo can sometimes raise, and we did roll high. We probably want to be raising our 6s and 8s for maybe for like a B75-ish size. So I feel like 7s with a club makes some sense to include in a raising range there sometimes. Not really sure. I'll tag that one too. Table 2, I think we can call specifically. Again, under the gun's opening range is going to be well, wider than non-ante tables, and yeah. Table 3, we called the squeeze. Probably just call flop. And I think specifically with the gut shot, we need to call turn fold river. Especially this river. Some of their bluffing range is going to be like ace 5 suited, which got there. Also, we have pocket 5s in range, presumably, and boats probably. So we still have some showdown value. I think maybe they play like ace jack like this sometimes and check back. Was not really expecting queen 9 off, but sure. I don't really think that should ever be a squeeze. And table 4, I think we opened, we check called flop. Looks like turn checked through. Now I think probably we have value with, you know, our good kicker and blocking the straight. I think we want to put this, assuming we have 2 sizes here, I think we want to put this in a smaller size, and I think we can probably play like B25 for our smaller size. I think jack 8 we can sometimes put into an overbet flop range, and I decided to go for it. Against the raise here, we just have a pure bluff catcher. I don't think it matters too much. Rolled low, I'm just gonna fold. And yeah, table one, I think we can barrel this sometimes, but we want to prioritize having a spade, and rolling a one makes me just want to check back and see a free card. I don't really know what the snap check means. Therefore, I'm not going to read into it too much. The question is, do we want to bluff this combo? I think probably not. We have enough, like they potentially still have like 5-4 in range, so we have some small amount of showdown value. Also, we have weaker stuff to bluff with, 7-5, 7-4, 5-4, all that stuff. So I'm just going to check this back. I'll tag that one too and probably have it be the last one we look at in Wizard later. Probably not bluffing ace high on table 4, and then occasionally checking back with ace X on table 3, and I think yeah, checking back with weak ace X I think makes a fair amount of sense. And we turn the straight. I think we effectively have the nuts here because our opponent never has 6-4. And so the question is, how big do we raise? I'm going to put in a min raise, which does a couple things. First of all, it gets him to call wider and also lets him 3-bet bluff in case he has whatever, a 7-6 combo he wants to turn into a bluff. Obviously those hands would fold against a jam, but they might 3-bet jam against a min raise. Queen 5 off with the 5 of hearts. I'm going to go for a probe delay here, whatever you want to call it. And I am going to sit out on my next big blind on all tables and wrap up the video. Table 3, I think we want a very high checking frequency, so, well, pretty high checking frequency, multi-way, rolling low and having a weak ace X. I think, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to check. Turn could really go either way. I don't really think we get 2 streets and don't need that much equity denial, so I'm actually just going to check again. I think we're more likely to get kind of 1 street on the river. And yeah, I think we can have a couple sizes here. Maybe my small size is B40, and this is a hand that it's like bottom of value range, so I want to put in the small size. Table 4, we call, I think there's like a dead small blind, so yeah, we called button pre against an early position open. Called pot on the flop, turn. I'm trying to think of what bluffs I can have. I guess stuff like ace 5 suited. So probably I want to use that for bluffs, and maybe even 5s with a club and just check this one back. We obviously still have showdown value against overcards. Oops. Oh, I forgot I was on call time on table 2, but yeah, I'm just going to wrap up the video here. We've been going for a while. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to see me review the hands that I tagged and learn from them in GTO Wizard, check out that video. And yeah, let me know what else you want to see on the channel. Any comments, questions, just let me know. And I will see y'all soon.